CCSP exam practice questions. Domain 1. Cloud Concepts, Architecture and Design. Part 6. Question 1. A cloud security architect is evaluating cloud service providers for a financial institution that processes credit card transactions. Which of the following should be the first step in verifying a provider's PCI DSS compliance status? A. Review the provider's ISO 27017 certification documentation. B. Check the official Visa registry of compliant service providers. C. Request the provider's detailed security implementation documents. D. Analyze the provider's FedRAMP marketplace listing. Correct answer, B. Explanation. When evaluating cloud service providers for PCI DSS compliance, checking the official Visa registry of compliant service providers is the critical first step. This registry is the authoritative source for verifying whether a service provider has undergone the official certification process and maintains active compliance status. While other documentation and certifications are important, the Visa registry provides immediate verification of a provider's PCI DSS compliance status, which is essential for financial institutions processing credit card transactions. Question 2. Which is the most important consideration when reviewing a cloud service provider's compliance documentation? A. The date of the last compliance assessment. B. The geographic location of the provider's data centers. C. The scope of services covered by the compliance statement. D. The third-party auditor who performed the assessment. Correct answer C. Explanation. When reviewing a cloud service provider's compliance documentation, understanding the scope of services covered by the compliance statement is crucial. Large cloud providers often offer numerous services, but not all may be included in their compliance certification. Organizations must carefully verify which specific services are covered under the compliance statement to ensure their intended use cases fall within the certified scope. This is more important than the assessment date, geographic location, or the identity of the auditor, as it directly impacts which services can be used while maintaining compliance. Question 3. An organization is developing a cloud-based application that will use cryptographic functions to protect sensitive government data. Which standard must the cryptographic implementation comply with? A. ISO 27017 cryptographic controls. B. PCI DSS encryption requirements. C. Common criteria evaluation criteria. D. FIPS 142 requirements. Correct answer. D. Explanation. For cryptographic implementations used in government applications, FIPS 142 compliance is mandatory. This Federal Information Processing Standard specifically describes the process for approving cryptographic modules for use in government applications. While other standards like ISO 27017 and PCI DSS include cryptographic requirements, FIPS 142 is the specific standard that government agencies and their service providers must follow for cryptographic implementations. Question 4. Which of the following best describes the primary purpose of ISO 27017? A. Providing compliance requirements for government cloud systems. B. Establishing payment card security requirements in cloud environments. C. Implementing cloud-specific controls based on ISO 27002. D. Defining cryptographic standards for cloud providers. Correct answer, C. Explanation. The primary purpose of ISO 27017 is to provide guidance on implementing security controls in cloud environments, specifically building upon and extending ISO 27002's general information security controls. It adds cloud-specific controls and provides guidance on how to implement existing ISO 27002 controls in cloud environments. While it may touch on aspects of government compliance or payment security, Its main focus is on adapting and extending ISO 27002's controls for cloud computing scenarios. Question 5. A cloud architect needs guidance on implementing security controls in a specific cloud provider's environment. Which resource would provide the most relevant implementation details? A. SANS Security Principles. B. CSA Enterprise Architecture Reference Guide. C. The provider's well-architected framework. D. ISO 27017 standard documentation. Correct answer, C. Explanation. When seeking guidance on implementing security controls in a specific cloud provider's environment, that provider's well-architected framework offers the most relevant and practical implementation details. While other resources like SANS Security Principles and the CSA Enterprise Architecture Reference Guide provide valuable general guidance, the provider's well-architected framework is specifically designed to provide detailed, practical implementation guidance for that provider's specific services and features. This makes it the most useful resource for architecture-level implementation decision. Question 6. When implementing PCI DSS requirements in a cloud environment, what is the most important factor to consider regarding the division of security responsibilities? A. The location of the provider's data centers. B. The provider's ISO 27017 certification status. C. The contractual obligations with the card brands. D. Which PCI DSS requirements are handled by the provider versus the customer? Correct answer, D. Explanation. When implementing PCI DSS requirements in a cloud environment, understanding which requirements are handled by the provider versus the customer is critical. This shared responsibility model directly impacts compliance efforts and security controls implementation. The provider's documentation should clearly outline which PCI DSS requirements they handle and which remain the customer's responsibility. This understanding is more important than the provider's certifications, data center locations, or contractual obligations, as it determines what specific actions the customer organization must take to maintain compliance. Question 7. A government agency is evaluating cloud services for a new project. Which certification program provides centralized security certification that applies across all U.S. federal agencies? A. Common Criteria, ISO 15408, B. FIPS 142, C. FedRAMP, D. ISO 27017. Correct answer, C. Explanation. FedRAMP, Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program, is specifically designed to provide a centralized approach to certifying cloud service providers for use across U.S. federal government agencies. It allows vendors to obtain a single certification that applies throughout the federal government, streamlining the authorization process. While Common Criteria and FIPS 142 are important government standards, they serve different purposes. Common Criteria focuses on product certification, and FIPS 142 specifically addresses cryptographic modules. ISO 27017 is a general cloud security standard not specific to government use. Question 8. When implementing security controls in a cloud environment, what is the best reason to consult vendor-specific design patterns? A. They provide general security principles that apply to all cloud deployments. B. They offer detailed implementation guidance for specific cloud services. C. They ensure compliance with government security standards. D. They replace the need for security framework compliance. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Vendor-specific design patterns such as AWS Well-Architected Framework, Azure Well-Architected Framework, or Google Cloud Architecture Framework provide detailed, practical implementation guidance specifically tailored to their respective cloud services. This makes them the most valuable resource for understanding how to implement security controls within that specific environment. While general security principles and frameworks are important, they don't provide the same level of specific practical implementation guidance for particular cloud services and features. Question 9. An organization is reviewing a cloud provider's ISO 27017 certification. Which statement best describes the relationship between ISO 27017 and ISO 27002? A. ISO 27017 replaces ISO 27002 for cloud environments. B. ISO 27017 extends ISO 27002 with cloud-specific controls and guidance. C. ISO 27017 provides cryptographic requirements, while ISO 27002 covers general security. D. ISO 27017 focuses on compliance, while ISO 27002 focuses on implementation. Correct answer. B. Explanation. ISO 27017 builds upon and extends ISO 27002 by providing additional guidance and controls specifically for cloud computing environments. It doesn't replace ISO 27002, but rather adds cloud-specific controls and provides guidance on implementing existing ISO 27002 controls in cloud environments. This relationship allows organizations to maintain consistency with general information security controls while addressing the unique security challenges of cloud computing. Question 10. A cloud service provider has achieved PCI DSS compliance. What is the most important limitation that customers should understand about this certification? A. The certification must be renewed annually. B. It only applies to specific geographic regions. C. The scope may not include all services offered by the provider. D. It doesn't cover physical security requirements. Correct answer, C. Explanation. When evaluating a cloud service provider's PCI DSS compliance, the most important limitation to understand is that the certification may not cover all services offered by the provider. Large cloud providers often have dozens of individual services, but their PCI DSS compliance efforts might only include specific services within their portfolio. Organizations must carefully review the compliance documentation to determine which specific services are covered by the compliance statement and what limitations exist for compliant use of these services. Question 11. Which approach would best help an organization ensure secure use of new cloud services as they become available? A. Waiting for ISO 27017 certification of each service. B. Following established cloud design patterns. C. Requiring FedRAMP certification for all services. D. Using only 5PS 142 validated services. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Following established cloud design patterns is the best approach for ensuring secure use of new cloud services as they become available. Design patterns offer proven blueprints for configuring and using cloud services securely, drawing upon the collective wisdom of engineers and security professionals. While certifications like ISO 27017 and FedRAMP are important, they may not be immediately available for new services. Design patterns provide immediate guidance for secure implementation, while formal certifications are being pursued. Question 12. What is the primary difference between Common Criteria certification and FedRAMP authorization? A. Common Criteria focuses on hardware and software products, while FedRAMP focuses on cloud services. B. Common Criteria is international, while FedRAMP is U.S. specific. C. Common Criteria is for government agencies, while FedRAMP is for private sector. D. Common Criteria covers cryptography, while FedRAMP covers general security. Correct answer, A. Explanation. The primary difference between common criteria and FedRAMP lies in their scope and focus. Common criteria, ISO 15408, is primarily used for certifying hardware and software products, while FedRAMP is specifically designed for certifying cloud services. While both are used in government contexts, this fundamental difference in their target technologies is their most significant distinguishing characteristic. The geographic scope, sector application, or security focus are secondary distinctions compared to this fundamental difference in what they certify.